Hi there. Hi, it's Elaine here. I'm back again. Yes, I was hoping to bring you videos a bit more often, but I've had a few problems with Mummy and she hasn't been very well. I've had to make sure she's looking after herself and that sort of thing because she lives on her own. So hopefully she's on the mend. She's had a bad leg and got cellulitis, so that's not good fun. But she's on the mend anyway. So all of the problems that I had with the videos and my app has been while I've been making this. This is my new junk journal. As you can see, she's quite a big girly. I'd recorded a video of me making the cover, and as you can see, you've not been able to see that. I also recorded a video of making some of the patchwork pages. I've made 7 small signatures, and I'm hoping this will not create a gator mouth. That's my plan. I was watching, oh, what's her name? It's gone completely. The Australian lady. I'll put the link below, and I'll stick the name of her YouTube channel up on the screen. She makes journals to sell as well as her own. She does journaling. Hers is all mainly about kind of a family and kind of recording her day to week to yearly life type of thing. So I noticed that when she makes a journal, she looks like, because she makes quite chunky journals. I've got a fairly big spine. I had to put a new spine in it. So I thought, well, what I need to do really is the same sort of thing. She has lots of signatures, but they're a lot smaller, because when she was showing a recent journal, I was counting the pages as she went through it, and she had about 5 or 6 in each signature, but she had a lot of signatures. So because this is quite a large size, I've also done a 5-hole binding, because obviously you need to be able to catch all of the different sizes. So I'll just show you this one signature that's got to go in. I made these patchwork pages. Let me just pull one of those out. I'll pull the middle out of that and show you. I don't know whether you can see it all because it's quite a large page. My book is probably about A4 size, which is, it's a little tad longer than an A4, but it's the same width as an A4. So what I did is I made some of these patchwork pages to go in it, because obviously I've got quite a lot of smaller pages, and I've mixed it up really, and they are literally patches of different pieces of paper from books, and obviously music paper and various papers from, I've stamped on some, and lots and lots of different types. Looks like some of them might need a little bit of a glue down. Some of it hasn't stuck very well. Now the only problem is that I found, especially even with this one, this was from an envelope, a security envelope. So that's the blue side, and obviously the other side is white. But it's quite thin. There's another one there. And I was going to put a patch over that to strengthen it up. But I don't know whether I brought any with me. I wonder if I've got any in my box up here. Whether I can, well, I don't really want any. I suppose I could put another brown on there. Look at that, that's the right size exactly, isn't it? That'll do. So I used a page from the original book. As I say, I put a new spine in it because the spine was only about 1 inch and it wasn't quite enough. So I put a new spine. I just used, my brain's not working. It's a little bit, what did I use? I've lost my train of thought completely now. So we'll stick that down on there just to help reinforce that bit. That bit there's a bit loose, so I'll stick some glue on that. So basically I made it a bit like it. I think Nik the Booksmith calls them Franken Pages. I got the name from Megs Journals. She called them Patchwork Pages because they do look like big patches. Now, Franken Pages, I know Nik the Booksmith tends to sew them as well. I had no intention of sewing them because my sewing machine's not available still at the moment. But I didn't particularly want to do. I think I might need my art glitter glue for that one. I didn't particularly want to do a lot of sewing until my workshop's sorted out, really. Let's see if it'll come out. I have been having a lot of trouble with it up here because of the cold. It had got a little bit cold recently, but not as cold as what it had been in the winter, so I think it is coming out. So yeah, I obviously didn't check this one before I sew it in. I'll do a little patch job. So I've got 7 signatures and I've made 7 pages. So there's 1 in each signature. And I've got a scrapbook paper, and this one's got a nice pink page. And oh, sorry, I'm touching this one's one of my Dutch books, and this one is a ledger paper, and this one is a page out of this book. The book was on, it was called Archaeologia, something like that anyway. And it was this particular edition, it was like a big volume, it was number 4 I think, or something. And when I bought it, was one of the ones I bought in Herefordshire when I visited my friend Lainey. Hi Lainey, if you're watching. And I liked the colour of the book, and I have used some of the pages from the book throughout. My whole, here's one, that's the middle one of that one, and it's all kind of on churches and the vaulted ceilings and how they, you know, gates, doors and all that sort of stuff, which I love. That architectural, not archaeology, I'm not really into archaeology as such, but it's more architectural stuff. See, this is the doors, and that's the other side of the page. So I'm nearly giving you a flip through now, aren't I, really? I was going to give you a flip through once I've sewn it in. So I thought I'd sew the last signature in with you, because I had to go and raid my mum's thread stash because I'd run out. I got all these 6 in. I could only get 3 out of 1 skein, as we call them, which is a whole reel, and that's what we call them here in the UK. And so I did put some pages from the book in here, and here's another one. This is some kind of ground layout. I like kind of anything mathematically, or grids, or architectural plans, that sort of stuff. But I do like to use covers for my journals, pre-made covers. I take the book apart and use the cover, and so I've actually put scrapbook paper on the inside covers, and there's nothing on the back cover. That's a bit of Edith Holden there. So I've got nothing on the back cover. The spine, I used a Hessian ribbon. I've got a few different ones that I got off, was it eBay? It might have been eBay or Amazon or somewhere. Yeah, and they come in like this 2-inch ribbon, 2-inch wide ribbon. So I've had to put 2, and they've crossed over in the middle. Oh, you probably see it better on the outside. so I've had to cross it over in the middle, and I quite like it. It matched the book lovely, and I've got some threads that hopefully seem to match the book quite nicely. So I thought I'd have a go at sewing in the last signature now that I've got some thread to do it. I'm not very good at this, and 5 holes are much more difficult because you weave in and out down the spine, and then you go back through the same holes again, going back up, so then you complete all of those threads on the outside and on the inside. So that is quite a bit of a pain when you go back. So I'll give it a go. If I get into trouble, I will probably do it off camera and then show you it finished. Because we don't want any swearing, even on my channel, even though it's adults only. But I don't really want to swear. Now, I haven't poked the holes in this one yet. And I did actually notice that, I think it was this book page, has got a couple of holes. And I'm hoping maybe I might be able to hit it, but I bet I won't. But sometimes I put washi tape down it, and I haven't been able to do that so far, but I might actually do that because it can reinforce the page better, and it is quite a thinnish page because it is just a book page. So what should we do? What have I got? Yeah, because we've got that red grid on there, so we might use this one. I'm only going to do it on the inside, and I'm going to glue it down. Where's my glue stick? Because, you know, it will probably pop up, and I don't want it popping up and I won't be able to glue it properly. So let's just wind it up. There we go. That's probably a bit longer than I need. Yes. Put it in the middle. And I'll just cut off the ends. I'm not worried about the other side too much because it only really needs a little bit of reinforcing just to make sure. And I need to do it before I show it in. So I hope you're all keeping well, and I won't actually do a journal with me in this one because I'm going to sew this one in, but I will do a journal along very soon and get it going, get it started. Actually, I need to just fold that, don't I? Put the fold back in. Now, hopefully it'll stay there. So what I've done, because most of the pages are small, then obviously that book page is not too bad. But these are all A4 on their sides, and this one's a shorter one. I've staggered where they're going to go so that they all get caught by at least 2 threads, maybe 3, depending on whereabouts I put them in the spine area, you know, in the middle. Right. So I think this one's higher up. So I think what I'll do is I'll have this one sort of near the bottom. It evens out the bulk throughout the whole book so that it doesn't get a bit top or bottom heavy really, or centre heavy. Some of them are at the bottom, some of them are in the middle, some of them at the top. So, and it depends on how big they are to where I put them and that sort of thing. See, that one's quite a big one, and that's sort of in the middle, and that's slightly to the bottom. So I've sort of staggered them that way. I don't need the glue, so let's put my glue lid on. This is a template that I make to make the holes for the spine. So I usually fold it in the middle so I can get my centre one. I always find it better to have an odd number for the signatures, because then you can balance them either side easier. So you have a centre line and then they go out from there. So they've got, I think it's 1/4 inch between them. So I think it worked out better in inches than in, yeah, it's about 1/4 inch between each hole. Yeah. And then I've staggered them. This one is higher than what it is from here to here. That one's longer, so it's slightly higher up and lower down, so that it will, they're not exactly the same height between each row. So these ones are higher and lower, and these ones are at the same point from here. So it varies really. I always put a T for top. This is just slightly under 30 centimetres, or it's about 11 3/4 inches long. The actual spine in the book is slightly longer than that, obviously. I don't know actually. Oh no, it's the same length. So what I'm doing, I'm actually lining it up at the bottom. And the reason I'm doing that is because I don't want the pages to stick out the bottom quite as much. It doesn't matter at the top or at the sides, but at the bottom, when you've got it on your bookshelf, which I'm hoping, oh, that was very clever, Elaine. When you've got it on your bookshelf, there's not too much coming out the bottom. Right, excuse me a moment. I need to go and pick up my spine because it's just flown away. I've got a new cart, a pull along trolley cart to bring my stuff up here in. I got it for the first time. My mummy bought it for me because I've been looking after her. She likes to treat me now and again. I tell her not to, but she does. But right, so where was I? Yeah. So when I've done the holes for the spine, I've used the whole of this template, which is why they're all stacked. And they go, what I've done is I've done it so that it's at the bottom again. So hopefully the holes line up throughout the whole book so that not too much comes out the bottom. I mean, you know, it has come out a little bit. I probably didn't line it up very well when I started, but that's what I've done through most of it. Once these are all where I want them, I think I might just move the pink one up a little bit. I'd like that one more or less at the bottom, but not completely at the bottom. And I think I want this one sort of in the middle with that. I don't know, maybe nearer the top. We'll do that. I think I'll have it that way. Like that. Now the problem is with these big pages is all my clips don't really reach properly. Right, now then, I'm going to stick me Winnie the Pooh on here because he's a little bit, he's got most of it, he just hasn't quite got this. And you can't really do it, it's just not possible to get everything. See, this will only reach to there. It's just, oh, I've stuck it to this one. Silly woman, oh dear. Right, now then. So I'm going to line the bottom up with the bottom of the pages. And all I've done is I've gone down the centre of the middle line, basically on the template. I think I need to move that over out the way a bit. Right, there we go. So make sure it's tucked right in to the middle, which is actually easier when you haven't got lots of pages to handle. It can still be very awkward to do this. Oh, I've got me all out. And we need to punch all the holes all the way along, right through all the signature. I don't think I've got it quite right there. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's better. So I'm going to start at the bottom. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to go through the centre hole, boom, like that. So where the crosses meet this line and through the hole in the middle. It comes out the other side. Yep. You see that? Right, so I'm going to go all the way along. And I tend to fold it back on itself, because then hopefully it will come out along the crease. I have done it where it's come out slightly not on the edge of the crease, which then can make it tear when you open the pages. So yes, that's a bit of a pain. Right, take that out. Hopefully that's still in the same place. With any luck, let's just check. Yep. Right, so we don't need that anymore. So I've already got the holes punched in here, but I might just have to stab them again, because they do tend to disappear in the fabric. It's a bit of a pain. And when you want to see it from the other side, you can't always find it. So I'm going to just re-punch the holes through the fabric just to make it easier for me to do it from the other side. I think that's it there. I see I've lost the hole. Sorry, I've got my chin on the mic. It's a bit high up today. There it is there. And one about here somewhere. The thing is, the fabric hole and the hole actually in the card. Oh, that's what I was talking about. My card, wasn't I? Yeah. It's basically a cereal box, the spine. And what I've done is I've only done one piece of card, and it's deliberate because I knew the fabric was going to be putting on it, and that helped strengthen it. But when I did my Old Dutch, I didn't have to change the spine. It was already quite a large spine already, so I didn't touch the spine. But what I did is I reinforced the spine, because obviously it was an old book, and it made it so stiff that when I'm working in it, it's got no give in the page, the way the book lies. And so it used to do this, where this one, because it's a bit softer, I'm hoping it won't do that, where the pages stick up quite the same, and hopefully it will lie a little bit flatter. And also because the signatures are spread out more, there's not so much bulk in each signature. Again, I'm hoping that will help to be able to work in it and lie flat in it. And to be honest, you know, working with big pages like this, only having a few pages to stitch in each signature is quite helpful, really. And so I'm glad I did that, and I think I will do that in future. If I do a big book, I'm going to do that with all of my journals from now on. Even if it's a 3-hole and it's a bit smaller, I think what I'll do is I will spread the signatures out more evenly through the spine, and hopefully once this one's in, I know they don't help really, but the actual book, I don't know if you can see it, So there's the spine, but obviously they're practically touching there. But as you fill it up, it will bulk out, and hopefully it won't be too much of a gator mouth really once it's finished. That's right, none of these are being held in, so they fill out. So I'm going to have to, once I've located the hole for the first couple of, you know, when I first make the first pass, then they'll stay together, they won't fall out quite the same. So right, I'm just going to have a quick drink because I'm a bit dry. It's out, but it's very cloudy, so I don't know whether we're going to get any more rain. I've had a bit of rain today, but it was absolutely lovely yesterday. It was about 19, 20 odd yesterday, and the sun was really, really hot. So let's sew it in. And I've had to take some off my mum's thread, and it's already measured out, but I'll show you how I do it. I usually do 3.5 times the book because I like tassels, and I start at the top so that my tassels are at the top. But you don't have to start at the top, but it is easier starting at one end or the other because that's where you'll end it. So it depends on what you want to do with it. So what I do, let me just do this so I don't actually end up with a big knot in it, which I might be if I'm not careful. Yep, there we are. So what I do is I get one end and I go 1, 2, and I sort of give myself a bit of a generous 3 times the book, and then I go half, which I've actually given myself a lot more because I don't want to run out, obviously. That's still got an end bit from a previous, because I had to take some over to try and match it up with my mum's threads. Luckily she had one. She said she uses that number quite a lot, so especially at Christmas time, being red. First of all, we'll thread the needle. I want that bit of fluff on it, thank you. It's probably from my pocket when I brought it home. I bought me dressmaking scissors with me. Or my needlework scissors, I should say. My dressmaking ones are the big ones. And I give it a quick lick to flatten it. And then it goes through the... It's quite a big eye in my needle. It's a bookbinding needle. Oh, right, now first of all, make sure you've got your book the right way up and you've got the signature the right way up. Believe me, I've done that before many times where I've sewn it in upside down. There's nothing worse than getting to the end and then realising you've sewn it in upside down. You've got to take it all undone, turn it round and put it back in again. And I hate doing that, so I do always make sure every time before I start anything. So I lay it in the book ready, and I'm going to work from this side. I tend to work from the back to the front when I'm putting in signatures. You don't want to really start in the middle, especially when you've got a lot, because the signatures kind of get in your way because you're flipping and flapping between them, and you need to be able to flap the cover open so that you can see what you're doing from the other side. So I'm going to go in at the front. My hole's here, about there, yeah, I'm straight in. Whoops. Let's get that out of the way. And what I'll do is, we'll go back to the front again, because it'll screw up a bit. And what you want to do is, I want to leave it with a similar sort of length to what I've got hanging out the book already. Okay, about there. And then what I'll do is I will get my other clip. Well, what have I done with it? And we'll clip over there. And I will clip it down. And I tend to clip it to the inside of the book, like that. So that bit there is taut and it's not very long, and the bit that's flapping about is sort of here, out, kind of out the way of the spine on the other side. Right, so now I'm going to go into the signature. Now, the first hole is not going to have everything attached because of the size of the book. So there's my hole there, and it's completely missed the inside one as well by the look of it. Just I noticed that was coming undone. Might have to put a bit more glue on that one. So I'm going to try and keep it where it should be, even though they're flapping about, which makes it very difficult. So all I've done on this particular hole is gone through one sheet. So it's not really holding anything together at the moment. But the next hole, which will be in the middle here, I'm going to go through the middle, right through all of them this time, even the one on the other side, hopefully. So with this, I tend to go through one at a time to make sure I've got them and they're all lined up where I want them. And these ones are stuck together by the clip, which actually isn't helping me much. And through the pink one, through that one, and then through that one. So they've all moved just a fraction, and that's why we do it this way. Okay, sorry, my clips are banging together. To be honest, that's not really doing much, so it's no point in having it on there. Right, so I'm going to pull it through now. It's all wrapped up around there, which is not helpful. What are you doing? I'm getting in the right pickle. There we are, that's better. So as you pull it through, they will all line up. So my first hole is caught. So I'm going to leave myself a little bit of a length, because as I said, as you go back the other way, I'm going down at the moment. When I come back up, it gets more difficult to pull them through, and this is the main reason. Oh, I'm going to lose that in a minute. This is the main reason why you've got to be careful not to split the thread with the needle. You have to watch that, otherwise you're going to have to take them out again and unsplit it, because you can't tighten it if you do that. Right, so I'm going to go out through the spine next. So I've got my stitch. It goes in there, out through here. Now I need to go through the spine. There's the hole there. As I say, with the fabric, it does make it a little bit difficult to see where the holes are. So I'm going to go, there's the hole there, look. When I was doing the middle ones, because of the join in the fabric, it was getting quite hard to do. So in the spine part, you can pull it fairly tight, but until you've finished, you don't need to have it really tight. So that's why you pull it up and get it at a better angle. So I'm hoping this way it is a little bit easier trying to get through, but not always. I do find that the actual clips can be a hindrance on this particular type. So I'm going to free float. I'm going to go through there. It's nearly there. Once you get a few in, and then they start staying where you want them a little bit easier. Come on, go through the hole. Let's take my glasses off. I might be able to see what I'm doing better. I don't need glasses for close-up work. Right, so that's that one. So now we've got like 3 holes done. They should more or less stay in place now. Because obviously with the 3-hole pamphlet stitch, you've actually got 3 holes done. So it will start to stay in place now. So back out through this one. So it's a bit like a running stitch, and then you end up going back through the holes from the opposite direction. So each time I go flip the page, I'm just making sure that the needle's going through the relevant hole it needs to on the papers. And this is why you need to leave it loose so you can do that. Otherwise it's just too tight and you just can't do it. So we've come out this one now, which is the 4th hole, back through the spine. And we go back into the bottom hole. I mean, ideally you should be able to go straight into each hole, but it doesn't always work. And I'm afraid with these large pages, you do get in a bit of a pickle if you're trying to do that. I am going to try and see if I can do it. We'll give it a go. It's floating about a little bit, and maybe I should have put some washi on this one actually. Yeah. I love old doors and stuff, so I thought we'd put that in the middle. And we don't have to do much to those sort of pages. I like them as they are, but what I will do, let's just pull that a little bit tighter than that. That's it. So I've now left it with all these little threads. I don't know whether you can see it clearly. Let's put it up. So they're all sort of hanging out a little bit, and we'll tighten it up once we've gone back through. Right, so we are now through them all, and what we're going to do now is go back from this one back into that one, and then we'll come out and we'll come back in, out the outside, back in through that one, and basically we'll fill these gaps in. So when we come back through that one to fill that one in and go back out, we're done, because we're tying it off on the outside. Right, this is when it starts to get awkward. So the idea is that you get it through all of the holes in each paper, and I find it a little bit easier if I don't go back out through this hole until you can go back and just check to make sure you can see the thread twice through each of one of those holes, and you know you've got them all. You can see one thread there and one thread there. Let's see if I can get you a closer shot. Let's do it on one that's a bit more easy to see. You can just sort of see one thread here and one thread there, and there's only one in this one, so obviously it's a double thickness. So we've gone through that one. We now need to go through to the other side. I'm going to turn it around this way again now. You can usually tell if you've split the thread, which I haven't, because it's not splitting when I pull them apart like that. It does make the holes a little bit bigger, but it can cope with it. So this is the biggest chance of when you can split the thread. And also I can miss the hole on the outside, but I'm not too worried. It's my journal, it doesn't bother me that much. See, it's sort of come out slightly, it's got a thread through between that one and that one, where it's come out the hole slightly different to the one that's already in there. So I'm going to fill in that gap now, go through back through this hole. Hopefully I haven't split the thread. Yes, I have. Oh, come out the hole now. I think that's all right. This is the only problem with using embroidery thread, is it's got 6 strands I think in each one, so it is quite easy to split it. It's not too bad on a 3-hole because you don't have to leave it like this. You can do it fairly tight because you're not going through many holes. But when you've got a lot of holes to deal with, it gets a bit hard to deal with. So this is the hardest bit. As you can see, I've only got that space. I've got to line the needle up through the holes, and it's got to go through all of them. And as you can see, it hasn't come out. So you've got to find where it's come out, and it's not even really gone in properly. So I'm going to do a little wiggle. I'm in that one. I'm not in that one. Can't see me in the needle at all. What's happened is it's gone underneath the page. Hang on. Oh, come out. No. What it does, it goes underneath here. Can you see it there? Sorry, I'm a bit dry. This is quite traumatic. I knew this would be a problem. This is why I wasn't going to do all of them on screen, because I knew it'd be a bit of a problem. So I'm going to go to the middle and see if it's actually come through, and it has, look. So that's a joy, because that's the only one that's a problem. Because when I go back through this hole, I'm going back outside and I'm going to tie it off. So that is the hardest hole, that middle one, because it's just difficult to do. So when we go back this way, it's a lot easier because we can go through all of the pages and push the needle through, as long as we don't catch the threads or the fabric. And then I can just go through that hole. I don't need that, it's in the way now. So I'm going to go back through the hole, try not to split the thread. And you can sort of check to see if you've split it before you go too far. That's okay, because it's not affecting it when you pull it through. And this now is where we tie it up, because that completes the run. So now we need to pull all the threads tight, because obviously they're still wiggling about in here. So I'm going to pull it from this way. That'll tighten certain ones up. I'll pull it from that way. Hopefully that'll tighten some of them up. And I think this bottom one could do with a little bit of a pull. Let's see which way we want to go with it. We'll go this way and this way, this way. And that one needs pulling from the other one, like that. So that's the one that we started with, that end. And this is the one that I've had the needle on. Right, so I don't like doing them too tight, because, you know, some of these papers can get a little bit delicate. namely this one. And all you need to do now is just make sure that the top one's tight enough when you do it up, and that'll do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 knots, but first knot is the easy one, but I need to knot it up this end because I want the knot to be here. This is when you need another finger to help hold it down. And tie it up, pull it through. I've just undone it, you silly mare. Oh dear, I pulled the wrong one. Am I still on screen? I'm trying to do it so you can see and I can actually do what I'm doing. Right. So this one, loop, I need to go through that one like that. Pull that thread through, and right, hopefully it's tight enough. It's not ping tight. I don't really like them ping tight because I've always overdone them and they've ripped the papers and made the holes really big. Right, so there's 3 knots in that now, and they're all done. See if I can do it without. When I did this one, when I did this one, I didn't do it very well the first time, so it's a little bit lower. Never mind. But the rest are all the same. Some of them are higher than others, but I haven't decided what I'm going to put on here yet. But obviously I'll put beads on, but I'm not quite sure whether I might tie them together or not. This one's a bit of a pain really, being this low. But these are all roughly the same sort of place really. So yeah, there we go. So this particular part is a little bit long and I'll just chop that bit off. We don't get too much waste really. But I did actually have quite a lot of extra with that one because I wanted to make sure that I didn't run out. So I took a tiny bit more than what I would normally. So there we are. She's all stitched in. So shall I give you a proper flip now? Shall I? And yeah, I'll show you doing some beads on it maybe. I could do that in my journal along or something. Right, so here is a scrapbook paper that I got from the craft box. It's a steampunk one. So the front is obviously steampunky too. These ladies, I was going to show you where I got those from. Excuse me, that's my Cricket chair. They're a digital and they're called, this one's Imaginarium, and the Etsy shop that I bought them from is called ItKuPilliimaginarium, something like that anyway. Oh, actually, let's show you on one that's a bit easier to read. There we are. Hopefully it's focused for you. These are fantastic, cool, steampunk free, and these are more machinery, but I do have more peoples. There they are. So there's various different sheets. I got quite a lot off this sheet from here. I got the lady with the antennae. So she's a head, she's a body, 2 wings, and they all come separately, and you cut out the bits you want and you basically collage them together. So she doesn't have a head, she's on a mannequin, she's like a mannequin type thing. And all of this is the base scrapbook paper. And then what I've done is I've added the flowers and this steampunky cluster here, all of her and the flowers here, and the create art are all bits from either this or this, these pages here. So I can give you a little flick of some of these. So they're quite good fun. They're basically paper dolls, but they're some of them are steampunk natured. Some are a little bit. This one's a clown one. I might be using this one in one of Carrie's prompts very soon. And as I say, I've got some machines, got some men as well. These are complete people. Then there's more whimsical dolls. These are different natured. They're not steampunky, but they're all kind of vintagey looking. More fancy ladies. So they're good fun. This is a spring fling. I love the trucks. Shame it's green, but you know, I've still got to use them. And these are the men. They're all like in goggles, like biggles. Then there's the hippie ladies, Free Spirit it's called. And some Free Spirit 1 and 2s. And then I bought some geisha women and some more manly ones. Yeah, that's about it. Right, so I thought I'd show you them. They're good fun. So I might be using them more in here in future videos. I've also got some collage papers from Diane Reevely and Art by Marlene. I use some of their stuff at times, so they might all be used in here. She's ready to rumble. Hey, at last I'll be able to use her. So would you like a flip through now? I just thought I'd mention I bought some Stamperia paper and I just made a plain notebook I just want to collage in at literally 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Took me, I don't know, 10-15 minutes. Most of the worst it is getting the pages in there. So that was nice and easy. So I was moving things over here and realised that it was in shot, so I thought I'd better show you it. So I'm calling them patchwork papers, and each signature's got patchwork paper, probably a scrapbook paper on the front. Then there's just a few different ones. I think every signature's got a ledger page in it. A page from this book mainly. You see, they're quite loose, but I kind of prefer that because I'm very heavy-handed, and in the past I've always overdone it. So I'm not going to do that for this anymore. And we'll give you a little flick through. So this is from my old Dutch. As you can see, it's lovely font. And it's lovely paper as well. It's quite thick. And I just love the pages. I love the pages from this. So I've used it in the patchwork papers as well in places. I've used gardening books. I've used bits of digital, music paper, kids books. I've got a book called The Sanctuary, which is a South African kind of nature reserve, game reserves and things about the animals and stuff. And that's one of the pages that's got one of the maps on. And then the second signature's got an Edith Holden. October, I like the berries, but I'll show you the back in a minute because I like the back one. As I say, gardening books. I've used pattern paper. I've used my Marine Engineers paper. I've done some papers that are stamped on and I've just stuck them in. I've used brown packing paper from Amazon. More ledger paper. I love this paper. So lovely. Gorgeous print. It's all handwritten. 1920 something, I think. 18. can't remember the year for this one. But I bought them from Sharika of Postal Love. And I just love those. I use them in my own journal, obviously. But I do have other, but they're French. Are they the French ones? Yeah, I think these are the French ones. But I've also got some German ones as well. This is from the book. This one. This archaeology book. It says vault decoration of room 2. But it's lovely, isn't it? It's really, really nice. Be a nice background. I probably won't put an awful lot on these, but they've got, it's nice, quite nice paper. Nice patina on it. And I've used graph paper, brown paper, matte paper. This is from French stuff that I bought from Sharika. Well, it was in the Christmas box. I used it at Christmas time. I don't know whether it's drying out or whether it's because now I've folded it and folded it over that some of it isn't always stuck down. So I'll have to go through it and just stick the bits down. And I might need to kind of patch up a few places because they haven't really got enough on them to make them stay stuck down. So I've got some nice berries on the Edith Holden. But this side is some lovely mushrooms. Look at those toadstools. Aren't they wonderful? My daughter knows the names of lots of mushrooms. I can't remember them all. So yeah, I stuck the glue down with Fabri-Tac. I don't have it up here. It needs thinning out actually. So I had a lot of trouble sticking it down really because I had trouble getting it out the bottle. And I do need to put some nail varnish remover. I've got glue on me. Look, I've hardly done any glue and I've already got glue on me. So these come out of, I don't know if they're a Tim Holtz actually. They might be. No, they're ItKuPilliimaginarium. Yeah, ItKuPilliimaginarium papers. They're the clockwork ones, I think. So yes, there's all sorts on my patchwork papers. This is from also a South African book. I bought quite a lot of these types of books from when I went to Herefordshire. And all the pages have got like a title page. I've got these yellow lines that they've sort of squared out and put the heading inside. And they've all got these little flowers. I don't know whether you can see them because they're quite pale. Hold on. I'll see if I can get close up. If I can. Will it focus? Not quite sure whether it is or not. Hopefully. It's just that I have to watch my lead. Right. Packing paper. This is from this book. It's got some nice doors on it. Some of my own dyed kind of grey blue paper. That's another, well, it's not really a ledger paper, it's more like an invoicing type paper. And then this comes out one of my flower books, probably one of my favourite flower books. The edge of a butterfly wing, that is. I didn't realise, I wonder what it was. This is all about the door hinges or whatever they are. I just like that sort of stuff. I'm a bit weird like that, really, I suppose. And I thought, well, that's just a pink spot here. There's nothing on the other side of that one. That's quite thin paper. I got them from the works, those ones. Gardening books of various types, sewing pattern books, and as well as sewing pattern paper, which was on the other one. And little bits of ledger, maps again, various ephemera, more ledger paper. This is from the lovely Corey, because that's in English, 1964, that one. This is from one of my bird books. It's got a brambling and a goldfinch. We get goldfinches in my garden. Some lovely purple paper. And this is that vaulted one. And a golden eagle on that side, because I do like eagles and birds of prey, and especially owls. Especially owls. I don't know whether I took my owl one out in the end. I kind of had to thin it down because I had too many pages. And it had been too thick and too hard to deal with. So these are from Susan Taylor Brown. They're part of her digitals of eco dyeing leaves and stuff. Yeah, they were yellow. They were already yellow. My printer was getting low at some point. I ended up with some pinky purple ones, which are in my purple journal, Purple Aster's journal. I haven't used that for a while actually. I was thinking about that last night. Got some Chinese, my Chinese book, more music paper, more from this book, my Marine Engineers book, more ledger paper. This one's got a pocket. I haven't stuck it down, but I might stick that down. And then this, more mushrooms. I do like the mushrooms. I don't like eating them, but I do like them. There's just something about mushrooms, isn't there? Yeah, this is the part of the signature for that one. And then, is this the last one? Yeah, I think this is the last signature. This is some beautiful paper from, I got these from the Works as well, I think. I think they're the Works ones, yeah. They don't really match very well though. I think I did that not too good really. This is pattern paper that comes, it's a book, and it actually shows you how to sew patterns and stuff, clothing. There's a little bit of, whoops, a little bit of dictionary page there from my nan's old dictionary. My mum gave it to me. It was completely falling about. She'd fallen apart, fallen apart, and I've been slowly using bits from it. See, it's got paper there. Flower books. More of the South African animal book. Sanctuary. Plain creamy paper. More Old Dutch. And some ledger paper in the middle. These are my mum's hand cross-stitched, and then I've scanned them in and I've reproduced them digitally, so they were just printouts. I have got one more signature. I thought I had. Didn't think that was the last one. This is the last one. This is Stamperia paper, this one. And I think it's the Mechanical Fantastical or something like that it's called. So I've used all these schematic type pages, that's the word, schematic. I mean, it was there somewhere. Some more kids book. This was from a child's book, storybook. Yeah, I thought I'd put most a bit brittle. I kind of sometimes have to reinforce it because the paper's brittle, and I've ended up putting them near the edge and they just keep snapping off little tiny bits. So I might need to just kind of reinforce them as I go along, really. Yeah, ledger paper, more of my hand dyed paper. Buzzard, Sparrowhawk. I don't know if you remember, in my last video, if you watch my last video, I'll link it below actually, because I was talking about the sparrowhawk that came into the garden and brought down a pigeon and was eating it on my garden. I don't know if you remember that. That's what he looks like. That's a sparrowhawk. I thought that was funny. I thought I'd put it in here. There's some beautiful unused pages of the French ledger paper. Here he is again. It's a juvenile sparrowhawk. Oh no, the top one's a juvenile. This is an adult male, this one. Oh, there he is. There's my tawny owl. I thought I took him out, but I must have moved him to a different signature. I love owls. So cute. They're so cute. Is a hippo? Yeah, the Sanctuary book had lots of these little line drawings in them, so I kind of pulled some of those out to make the page quite fun to interesting. So yeah, that's my last scrapbook paper. That's me dragonfly and me red to go with me red bits on the covers. So that's it. I don't think I'm going to put pockets in it because I just love the paper, and I'm still not sure if the cover's finished yet. I might put some metal embellishments like cogs and stuff that I've got on it yet. I don't know. Things like covers evolve over time. I often add bits as I go along, and I think that is probably what I will do. But generally I'm really happy. It's ready to go now. Sorry that I wasn't able to show you the building of the cover or the pages. I will link Megs Journals actual video where she was making those patchwork pages, which is what I watched it and where I got them from. I'll link that below so that you can go and watch that if you want to do that, if you'd like to make some. But they're great for big books, you know, because obviously a lot of them don't have pages big enough to fit them. And I do have other books that I could have used, and I took some out. But, you know, I decided I wanted to do this patchwork. I mean, originally I was going to do sort of a patchwork type cover, but then I saw the steampunk and the colours went so well. I thought, no, I'll have a steampunk cover on it, and we'll go with a bit of a steampunky theme throughout the book, really. And I probably will do some steampunk collages and stuff, maybe using some of these ladies and in the digital kits. But that's it. So I hope you enjoyed my little sort of signature stitching. It is awkward, but I wasn't going to do it, and then I thought, no, I'll give it a go. If it doesn't work, I just won't show it. But hopefully it has come out all right. It did come out quite well, really. I do get cross with it, and I think the trouble is I get tired, and then I'm doing it when I'm tired, and it doesn't help. So yes, next time you see her, I hope we'll be journaling along with me. I call it a journal along rather than a journal with me, because mine are chatty, and if you don't want the chat, then obviously you can turn them off, or you can just, the idea is that you do your journaling while I'm doing mine, and it feels like that we're working together then. That's my plan for those videos. They do end up being a little bit long. They're normally at least between half an hour to an hour, depending on what I'm actually doing, whether I'm flitting through the book or whether I'm actually sitting on a specific collage or whatever. But I do enjoy my chats, as you know, if you've been with me a long time. I do like to chat. It is who I am, and that's how I've based my channel, around me being chatty, which is why I'm called Chattylaine. And yes, it is Chatty and Lane. My name is Elaine, so the Y is a replacement for the E. So Chat, E, Lane. And that's sort of, well, I used to be called Chattylaine Jewellery and Beads, and I used to be then called Chattylaine Art Glass because I used to make glass beads, as some of you already know. And I kind of altered it because obviously I'm not making the beads anymore. I'm not doing any jewellery anymore. But I might still do some. I need to finish off my dangles videos. I did a series where making dangles for junk journals, and I didn't do the last video of actually making the dangle, a full dangle for a journal, which I might do for this. You never know. And I don't quite know what I'm going to do with all these threads, but they're there and I can use them if I want to, or I can chop them off if I don't want to. But you also got to be aware that when you're working in the journal, all of your beads need to be able to be put out the way at the top, like this. So they're up here, like that. So I'm usually very aware when I do them that I leave them, that they don't start until they're actually past the book. So you can just chuck them up the top out the way, like that. So there we are. There she is, ready to go. And I'm really happy the way she come out. I hope you enjoyed seeing me finish her off, and we'll be working in her very soon. So keep well, stay safe, and I would love for you to subscribe if you've not already. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching me do this sort of thing and you want to see any more of my videos. Subscribing will, you know, tell you when I upload my next one. Hope they will become a little bit more regular again, but I don't know. You know, I do care for my mum and she lives on her own, so I do have to be aware that I can't always do it. Hopefully we'll see you next time, and we'll have a bit of a chat while we journal in the lovely new, I haven't called her anything yet. I might come up with a name for her, I don't know yet. We'll figure that one out as I go along. So I hope to see you next time, and I'm going to say bye for now.